Hey, what's up? This is Oscar De La Hoya. You're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Keith one-time Thurman gets a unanimous decision over Italy's Leonard Bundu. All three of the judges scored the fight 120 to 107. That is a shutout, 12 rounds to 0. Now I have good news and I have bad news when it comes to Keith one-time Thurman. What do you guys want to hear first? I'm assuming you probably want to hear the bad news first, so let's go ahead and take care of that. The bad news when it comes to Keith Thurman or Keith Thurman fans is Thurman is clearly not on Floyd Mayweather's level. Since Keith Thurman is the one who kept bringing up Floyd Mayweather's name, I think it makes sense to give you guys a little bit of contrast. The reason why I say Thurman is not on a Floyd Mayweather level, not because he didn't get the knockout. I mean, a knockout is obviously just a little bit more flashy. But at the end of the day, just like in the NBA, it don't matter if you get a layup or a slam dunk, it's still 2 points. So it's not because Keith Thurman didn't get the knockout. The reason why I say he's not on his level is because when I was looking at what Keith Thurman was doing in the ring with Leonard Bundu, first of all, we know that Keith Thurman, he knocked down Leonard Bundu with a left hook in the first round. Now, after that, it seemed to me because Bundu had a good defense, he switches a lot, he does a lot of different things in there. It seemed like very early in the fight, Keith Thurman became very frustrated because he couldn't land the punches that he was used to landing against fighters like Soto Karass or Diego Chavez. He couldn't land the punches that he wanted to land. So because of this, he continued to circle around the ring, and then just throw one or two bombs at a time, right? Now, the difference from Keith Thurman and a Floyd Mayweather, keep in mind, Keith Thurman is known to be a very big power puncher, right? Floyd Mayweather is not known for being a power puncher. But yet, Floyd Mayweather, he can still walk down a guy who is 20 pounds bigger than him, much stronger than him, and put that guy on a defensive every now and then, right? You don't believe me? Go back and watch the Canelo fight. You can even go back and watch rounds in the Cotto fight. Even the Oscar De La Hoya fight, which once again, De La Hoya was 20 pounds bigger. He looked way bigger than Floyd Mayweather, right? So this is what Floyd Mayweather could do. He can adapt, okay? He can adapt to whatever it is a person is doing in the ring. I think if Floyd Mayweather was in there with Bundu, Floyd would have been throwing jabs and lead right hands to the solar plexus to neutralize and temporarily freeze his opponent from constantly charging in on him, right? Not only that, but once again, Floyd Mayweather, he'll go on the inside every now and then. He won't stay there for a long time with every single fighter. I mean, he stayed in the pocket for a long time against Cotto. With Canelo, he would jump on the inside real quick, do a little stuff, and then he would get back to boxing. Keith Thurman is different. Keith Thurman, if he can't land the punches he wants to land, he will continue to move, circle, 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 and then he'll throw like one or two big bombs, and then circle, circle. Never did I see Keith Thurman sit down, get into a tight defense, just, your typical standard defense where you basically shell up and try to get a little bit of inside work and basically try to slow this guy down, right? I didn't see those dimensions when it came to this fight. I mean, you're talking about a fight in which Keith one-time Thurman was calling out everyone. He was calling out Floyd Mayweather, calling out Khan and Devin Alexander. He was talking about he's going to burn money in 2015, referring to Floyd Mayweather, okay? He was talking big And understand something. I really like Keith Thurman. But I'm just saying he was talking big, and this was supposed to be just a showcase to get out of the way. He had been out of the ring for 8 months, and this was just a return. So, and he was just supposed to hop over this stepping stone and then prepare for bigger and better things in 2015. But that's not how this fight played out. Instead of this looking like just an easy-ass fight where Keith Thurman walks to his opponent, this fight looked a lot more like Canelo versus Lara. It turned out to be a very close fight, as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, some people could argue if it was very close or just closer than what the judges had it. So we've established that it's very clear. Keith Thurman, he is not on Floyd Mayweather's level. Now, this doesn't mean he can't beat Floyd Mayweather, because he's a dangerous puncher, and he does have boxing skill. He just doesn't have the same boxing skill Floyd has. But any fighter, young, strong lion with a good amateur pedigree, knows how to box a little bit, he's going to still be a threat to Floyd Mayweather. I wouldn't pick him to beat Floyd Mayweather because I believe he telegraphs those big bombs a little bit too much, which Floyd would probably see a mile away coming, right? So that's the bad news. The bad news is he's not on Floyd Mayweather's level. But the good news is, to Keith Thurman's defense, like I said before, he just came off of an 8-month layoff. He still won the fight. He can still win. He can still beat the majority of fighters at the welterweight division. And it was a learning experience. Overall, it was a learning experience. Styles make fights. And now they're talking about Keith Thurman fighting against Marcos Maidana. I think we're going to really get to see Keith one-time Thurman in that fight. What I mean by that, it's just like Keith said, I interviewed him after the post-fight conference, and he said, against someone like Bundu, against someone like Khan, you might not see the Keith one-time Thurman. What he basically means is he probably won't get the knockout because these guys, they move, they're very elusive, it's more of a chess match. But he believes with someone like Maidana, because he's more open, more easier to hit, he's going to make more mistakes. Keith believes he can knock out someone like that. So once again, the good news really is Keith Thurman can still beat the majority of these fighters in the division. Now, I heard Errol Spence has been calling out Keith Thurman on Twitter or whatever, and I wouldn't advise Keith Thurman to take that fight. Oh man, I wouldn't advise him to take that fight. Errol Spence is a bad boy. He is a bad boy. But overall, it wasn't Keith Thurman's performance. Another thing I want to touch on, the boos. Let me tell you something. I was there watching this fight live. The boos were completely unnecessary. I mean, especially to the degree that these guys were booing. Now, I can understand every now and then there's a little bit of, shower of boos, some light boos here and there. But the boos that they were hitting Keith Thurman with, it was overkill. It was definitely overkill. Unfortunately, for those of you guys who watch my channel and are subscribed to me, you know what I mean when I say Keith Thurman, believe it or not, he is on that coincidental list. Okay? He's on the coincidental list. What that basically means is he will get the same treatment that Tim Bradley, Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, Guillermo Rigo, Edeslani Lara. He gets the same treatment they get. It doesn't matter how he fights. Now, sure, when Keith Thurman is getting knockouts, there's less boos. But, he's not really bringing the house down with cheers either, even when he gets the knockout. You know why? Because he's on that coincidental list, and deep down, a lot of these fans, they won't admit it. They say that, some of them will even say, oh, yeah, I like that Keith Thurman. But these are the same fans that tried to drown out Keith Thurman's interview when he's trying to explain what took place in the fight, which proves to me that not all, but some of these fans who even said they really liked this guy Keith Thurman, so on and so forth, deep down, they were really waiting for him to maybe be exposed, for him to not have a good performance, even lose, possibly. I mean, the truth of the matter is, of course, you have some fans that are true, and they really do like Keith Thurman. But then you have other fans who say they like him, but really, they are waiting for his downfall. They can't wait for this man to fail. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what we heard in the arena at the MGM tonight, was a whole bunch of fans that were waiting for this man to fail. Once again, I totally understand occasionally there's going to be sprinkle of boos. But if you guys heard it, I don't know if you can hear it on TV, but man, in that arena, they booed this man so bad. It was like he grabbed the mic and said, hey, yo, I'm just letting y'all know I'm the devil, and I'm taking all you motherfuckers back to hell with me tonight. You know, I mean, it was like overkill. It was ridiculous. Another thing I'm starting to notice that I find pretty interesting is, you guys already heard Keith Thurman, he called out Marcos Maidana. I talked to Sam Watson. Sam Watson, he says that that fight is going to most likely happen. What's funny to me is whenever Keith Thurman or Showtime, whoever, when they say, who wants to watch this fight, guys? Thurman versus Maidana. You're hearing a lot of boos. You hear some cheers, but you're hearing a lot of boos. Even when Keith Thurman brought up Maidana's name at the weigh-in, it was a lot of boos. Why do you think they would boo Keith Thurman fighting against Marcos Maidana? Why do you think that is? They're simply booing because these fans, they really like Maidana. They really like Maidana. They know that Maidana will lose against Keith Thurman. And they don't want to see Maidana lose. That's the truth. That is the whole truth. Okay? And like I said, the fans that are listening right now that boo or say I don't want to see Thurman versus Maidana, you know deep down it's true. You don't want to see Keith Thurman beat your guy. That's what it comes down to. There is no reason why a real boxing fan who claims they like to see action, they like to see knockouts, they like to see fighters getting knocked down and so on and so forth. There's no way you're going to tell me that and then turn around and say, oh, I don't want to see two of the most explosive fighters fight against each other. Oh, I want Keith Thurman to retire. I want Maidana to retire. Or, oh, he doesn't need to fight this guy. Come on, man. Come on with the silly ass excuses. You know what time it is. And Marcos Maidana knows what time it's going to be if they fight. It's going to be one time. That's all I got. I'm on to the next one.